Welcome, my friend. Welcome to CrossYoga. Today I'm going to guide you through a slow class with the topic of strong humility, being humble. And that might not be something that's super popular in today's culture, but being strong in that humbleness, I think, is very, very powerful. So let's dive into that. If you have a block, bring it along. You might pop yourself up on the block as we will begin with just a little bit of breathing and getting ready to move. I know that some of you might want to skip this part, but it's really great actually just to sit and breathe for a moment because we need it, especially when we want to skip it. So find a seat that makes sense on the block if that feels good for your thighs. Close your eyes. Soften everything. You might move a little bit around. Sigh out and let go. And calm your breath when you're ready for it. Inhale and exhale through your nose if you can. And where are your thoughts going right now? I like surrendering my thoughts and everything that's going on, even my feelings and emotions, to God. If that does not ring true to you, you might choose to put them in a basket or something by the mat so they won't bother you as we move here. And breathe. Take 5 deep breaths. You count on your own. You might exaggerate the last 2 breaths that you take here. Deep breath. Really get all the air in and out slowly. Let's do a little bit of free rotations from side to side. You can move with your breath or a little bit faster if you like. So make sure the spine is up towards the sky as you move the shoulders from side to side. Now, being humble or having humility could easily be thought of as never speaking up, never speaking your truth, always staying in the shadow of others and all of that. But that's not humility, and that's not strong humility. Jesus says something I think really interesting. I'm going to read it, and you can sit and do seated cat-cows as you listen. If you want to sit still instead, you can do that. It's from Matthew 5. And listen what Jesus is saying. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If someone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if someone wants to sue you and take your tunic, let him have your cloak as well. If someone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. What does that tell you? Make your way out of the seated posture. You can bring the block to the front. Slowly come standing at the top of your mat, or actually forward folding with your knees soft. Then bend your knees, find your chair pose. Make sure you stand firm and strong. Bring your arms back, staying with the spine, still not moving the spine as you bring your arms back. Then to the front, reach the arms up, stretch your legs. Go for a back bend, a small one as you throw your arms back and out to the side. Palms together as you straighten your spine. Hinge forward from the hip and drop to your forward fold. Do that with a breath. Inhale, chair. Exhale, still spine, move your arms back. Inhale, stand up tall, high mountain. Exhale, bending back, open up your chest. Inhale, straight spine, palms together. Exhaling, slowly going forward with the core engaged. Continuing, chair, inhale. Move the arms back, exhale. Inhale, standing up. Exhale, leaning back, opening up. Inhale, straighten your spine, palms together. Long, deep exhale, fold forward. Chair, inhale. Get the waist engaged here. Exhale, arm back. Standing up, inhale. Exhale, open up your chest. Last time, mountain. Folding forward, exhale. Staying here in your forward fold. Maybe shake your neck. So what I like about this is that it's humbling. You're being humiliated if someone strikes you on the cheek, if someone takes your cloak, sues you for just close, if someone forces you to walk, you're being humiliated. But you are shown strength as you turn the other cheek, as you give more that you were forced to give. That's to me strength and humility all at once. Right, bring your left leg back, high lunge. You might, before you rise up, get the block just on the inside of the front foot there. Gonna use it in just a moment. High lunge, arms up towards the sky. Now make sure the pelvis here is somewhat underneath yourself. Maybe you want to bend the back leg slightly. Kind of stay here, breathe a little bit, finding the strength. And then reach for the left arm. The left foot is back, reach for the left arm and go for a side bend. You pull the left arm over your head and towards the right side, staying, as you see I do, in a straight line. You're not leaning back or forward. pulling so you feel how the whole body is connected from the hip, maybe from the back foot as well. Relax your shoulders. Maybe pressing the front foot firmly into the mat. Maybe pressing a little bit forward towards the front of the mat. Coming back. Now left hand, reach down for the block. I'm using the second tight. I really enjoy that. Keep the front leg bended, twisting navel towards the inner thigh as you reach the left arm up. Tuck the shoulder blade a little bit back and down. Stay here and breathe. One more big breath. And if you want some padding underneath your left knee, you might do that. Fold your mat or whatever. Runner's stretch. You're going to take the left knee back, stretch the front leg, and your block might be really nice to have here as you fold forward. If you have no problem reaching the floor, you might be more stable. Try to move the sitting bones back, so kind of scooch the sitting bones back and really elongate the spine as you move forward here with your navel, with your chest. And then front foot in the mat, downward facing dog. So just put the block aside, set the front foot back, downward facing dog, and you might shake things out. Down dog is a posture where you have your hip up. Your knees might be really bended, especially if you're new to yoga and if you're an active runner, a bicycler or something like that. Now get some distance in between your ears and your arms. So you might tuck the shoulder blades a little bit back. Let the tip of the fingers press down into the mat to help you not to glide. One more breath. And then walk your feet to the top of the mat again. Fold forward, shake your wrists if you need to. And then slowly go into mountain pose. So, can you come to think about any times where you feel like you have been humiliated? What do you tend to do? Do you tend to agree with a person who might have said something really not kind? Or do you tend to become a little bit of aggressive, or you want to provoke back, you want to win the fight? What do you tend to do if you feel humiliated? Maybe you have a healthy pattern, maybe not. Move your right foot back. We're gonna do the whole sequence on the other side. First one we did was high lunge, and actually you can put the block on the inside of the front foot. Then it's ready. Again, pelvis in. Feel the thigh of the back leg there fire up as you stand here, and also the front leg, obviously. Relax your shoulders and maybe soften your elbows, your fingers. And breathe. Going for the side stretch, so right hand take a hold of the, left hand take a hold of the right wrist, and then you pull to the side, or a side bend in your right side body. One more big breath and stay here, stay strong also if you're shaking. Coming back. Always option of releasing attention. Maybe you need to, get out of it and come back to this posture. You're welcome to do so. Your right hand reaches down on the block. The left hand moves up so again, navel in. The pelvis stays, so you're not going to move the pelvis. That's why we're twisting. Two breaths. Run and stretch. Right knee down again. Make sure you have a blanket or double mat if you want extra padding. I like moving the front foot just a little bit more into center before I lean forward. Again, sitting bone move back, so I'm not rounding my spine. I'm kind of pulling my hip back. And that will give an extra stretch on the hamstring here, the back of the thigh. So we're bowing down, being truly humble. I believe you have to find your own worth. You have to know that you are valuable, loved, seen, and all of that. Otherwise, it's hard to be strong and humble, I think. If we don't have any self-worth, we might just agree with people humbling us. Again, if we don't have a strong self-worth, we might want to show off, we want to prove people wrong. It takes strength to turn the other cheek, a lot of strength. Remove the block, downward facing dog. You're welcome to do your vinyasa if you like to plank and all of that. If you're used to doing all of this. Take 2 breaths in down dog. Taking the heels down in the direction of the mat, but no need to get them down on the mat. Straighten the spine. And again, walk your feet to the top of the mat. Reaching up. Standing tall. Figure 4. Now you might want to take the block at the top end of the mat. I'm going to turn for you to better see, but you stay put, probably. Take your right leg and cross it, or you bend your knees to begin with, and take the right ankle on top of the left knee if you can balance. And then prayer pose, the block there in front of you. Most of the body here is almost placed as in a chair pose. Maybe you feel a stretch on the outside of the right hip. If you feel that, you might stay here and not go any further. If you want a little bit more and feel adventurous today, you can lean forward and your fingers might take a hold on the mat, on the block, Now, some of you would maybe want to go all the way down. I extend my standing left leg, move into a variation of forward fold. Relax the neck. Stay there in one more breath. And then you release the leg as best as you can. Bring the right leg to the back. We're gonna do humble warrior, which means the back right foot is a little bit out to the side. It's not aligned with the short end of the mat. It's not aligned with the long end of the mat, but somewhere in between. Gonna move the right hip bone forward. Grasp the hands here behind you, not arching the back, but leaning forward. Now, if you can't reach the arms, just hold on whatever you can. Lean forward on the inside of the front knee. You might want to go deeper, or you want to stay here. Squeeze the shoulder blade. Really feel the footprint on the front foot there in the mat. It's a hard posture. Strong humbleness. Oh, yes. Release. Let go, back heel off. Step to the front, and maybe you want to go wider than the mat. My feet is out of the mat. I'm going to do a semi-wide-legged forward fold here. Option of bending your knees, bringing in the block, again, depending on the hamstrings. Lift up, let the block stay put, coming into mountain again. These few postures on the other side. So some variation of chair, and then the left ankle on top of the right knee joint. Lots of balance here. So gaze on the floor when you have seen what you need to see on the screen. Can you get the shoulder blades to move back without moving the spine when you're doing this? Again, stay put. If you're comfortable here, you feel something. Or if you want a deeper stretch, now on the left side, your left side, grab a hold of a block or the floor. Release. Left foot moves back. You might sigh out after getting out of this. Again, the back foot, 45 degrees, whatever that means to you, to the front here. Bending the front knee over the ankle, closing the hip in the direction of the short end of the mat as best as possible. Hands behind you, squeeze the shoulder blades and go for that humble warrior on the inside of the thigh. You might want to go all the way down, you might want to go halfway. Two more breaths. Release, back foot off, step back, down dog. Shake things out. Stretching just a little bit. Come down on your knees. This is called puppy pose. If you don't have a block, you might have a chair or a low table by you. You're gonna use the block on that height that makes sense to you. I know in my body the highest height is great. So bring both hands, I'm gonna show you in the second height, on the block. You're on your knees, you're not in child's pose. On your knees, bring your hands, the whole wrist on the block as well, and then drop your head down between your arms. Now, if you can get your forehead on the mat like I do here, and don't feel a whole lot, that's when you're going to kick it up a notch. Maybe here, praying for strength if there is a person, if there is a situation that you know that you'll get into again and again, pray for strength to change the patterns that is not helpful. To show strength in humility. Coming out of puppy pose, maybe tabletop, maybe you want to get into cat, feels good by now. Last stretch will be pigeon pose, great for the hip and the side. You can do pigeon pose on the floor, call it reversed. We have been into a variation of this in figure 4. So coming back on your back and do that figure 4 on your back instead. Now, if you want to do the full version here, bring the right leg to the front, point the toes. If you're like me, hovering with your hip over the floor, you might bring the block underneath your hip. Might be nice, maybe not. Scooch yourself a little bit further back and maybe drop down on your elbows. Shouldn't feel painful in knees or anything. Then you have to come back on your back. Being very low practical about humility and strength. I remember one situation where someone said something to me that was painful to hear, and I truly believe it was untrue as well. And the person kept on going, saying bad things about me. And I could just feel the pain and the hurt and all of that rise in my body. And I was like, what am I going to do here? So instead of yelling back, I was like, stop. I cannot hear this anymore. This is not true. I will not hear this anymore. And if this is what you have to tell me, I don't think we should talk anymore. So our relationship actually ended there. For me, I felt like God was showing me strength and still humility, because I could have shouted back. I could have said a lot of nasty things back. I didn't, and I didn't agree with her either, but I said, stop. This is not true. I will not take this. Maybe that's inspiring for you. Let's switch side for pigeon pose. Tuck the knee, toe under, bring yourself back, maybe in down dog. If you're on your back, just switch leg. Again, point the toe if the shin bone is not aligned with the short end of the mat, which would be the full expression of this pose. Try to relax and breathe. So where can you find the strength to go that extra mile, give that extra cloak, or turn the other cheek? Well, in my life, I find it in my faith, and of course also in the majority of the people that I surround myself with. people that will encourage me and help me to know my worth. So there might be people that you have to stop seeing, that you have to take out of the equation of your life. You might have to forgive them. That's also showing strength. Holding on to a grudge, maybe it's a rightful grudge, it's not, I think, showing strength in humility. Coming up on your hands, and this time you might just roll out on your side. Coming into a resting pose. The block can be used underneath your head here if you like that. Just a short rest. Get your legs out to the side. Get your hands down on the floor. And breathe. I'll conclude our time together with a prayer. You can just stay down on the mat. God, I pray for each person watching, listening, attending this class, that you will give strength and true humility, humbleness, knowing our worth in you, knowing that we don't need to prove anything in front of anybody. And we don't need to disappear or not stand up for ourselves, because we know that you see us as daughters, sons of the mighty King that you are. May you continuously enlighten us in your grace. Amen. If you're ready to take a seat, you might wiggle fingers and toes and all of that. As always, you might feel like staying on the mat. Please do so. Don't be too quick. Maybe meditate on the topic, read the passage from the Bible again, if you like. But from my heart to yours, thank you so much for attending. Blessings on your path.